video, I'm going to talk about the question types that appear on both the ACT and the SAT. I'm talking about the longer types of questions. In the following videos, I'll talk about question types that are unique to each test. Now, both tests like to ask questions about adding a sentence. We've talked about this previously. The ACT writers typically ask, which of the following sentences, if added at this point, would, and then they'll put in something, add an example, strengthen an assertion, offer the best transition, etc. In these cases, you pick the sentence that best answers that question. Did you remember to underline keywords in the question? That's pillar 4, and it's important to do that throughout the test. In some cases, they'll ask if the sentence should be added, and if so, where. You may have 3 options that say yes, each with a specific location, for example, after sentence 3, and the last option would be the sentence should not be added. Or you may have 4 locations at which to add it. And sometimes you may have 2 yes and 2 no answers, each with a rationale. The SAT writers generally structure their questions about adding a sentence to ask, at this point, should the writer add the following sentence? Then 2 yes and 2 no choices are given, each with an explanation. Your objective is to pick the best explanation that fits. Occasionally, you'll see this type of question on the ACT as well, the same wording. Now, both tests will ask you to select the answer that provides the best supporting detail, clear example, or transition between paragraphs, whatever. When you come to one of these questions, remember to underline the key parts of the question to help you stay focused on what they want as you evaluate the option choices. Perhaps the most time-consuming questions on these tests are those that ask you where a sentence, we'll call it A, should be placed. We discussed that earlier, but it's worth covering again. When these questions appear, all the relevant sentences are numbered. These questions require you to return to the passage, read the topic sentence and a sentence or 2 before the possible placement, and then read A and the sentence then that would follow it, maybe even 2. You may need to read even more sentences before and after A. If that location is definitely wrong, mark through that letter for that answer and repeat the process at the next location. As you can see, this task is complex and requires great focus. You may want to skip these questions and return to them after you've even finished the other longer questions in the test, because these are the longest. Another less common question is where a word or a phrase should be located in a sentence. These questions are much quicker than moving a sentence because you just read the one sentence, trying the word or phrase in the suggested locations. It should fit smoothly in the correct location and make good sense. Occasionally, you may see a question that asks where a specific paragraph, we'll call it B, should be moved. Each paragraph will be numbered, and you'll need to check for the flow from the previous paragraph into B as well as the next paragraph. If the flow or the logic are not a good fit, eliminate that answer and continue looking. These questions, like moving sentence questions, take more time. You may want to do them last. Now let's turn to questions unique to the ACT.